Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Honorable Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, and our fellow Fijians. Nisam Bulavinaka. I rise to support the motion to thank His Excellency the President for his most gracious address delivered at the state opening of Parliament on 16th of February 2026. His Excellency called for leadership grounded in unity, resilience, and integrity, reminding this House that our people will judge us by outcomes, not rhetoric. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I commence, I wish to firstly acknowledge the traditional owner of this land. Sa wambul tiko, ay tiko po turangan ang dunmay. Impula sa kanang turangan at isuwa, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and pay my respect to the elders past and present. My Assistant Minister has addressed the culture, heritage, and art dimension of our portfolio. As he had noted, the Department of Culture, Heritage and Arts now sits with the Ministry of Public Enterprise, Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts, ensuring integrated leadership on national cultural matters, while our ministry retains responsibility for iTaukei culture, heritage, and arts. The ministry is also leading the preparations for the 8th Melanesian Art and Culture Festival in 2026, building on cultural momentum already achieved. This work complements our broader mandate and reinforces whole-of-government coordination under Pillar 2 of the National Development Plan on the pupil empowerment and our strategic development plan. In my contribution today, I will focus on our wider mandate, strengthening iTaukei governance and institutions, protecting and utilizing land and natural resources, and advancing an indigenous development agenda aligned with national unity and inclusive growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency spoke directly about the enduring role of traditional institutions in shaping identity and social cohesion. He reminded us that effective national leadership is strongest when traditional authority and government work in partnership. He also called for an integrated review of native land administrations and iTaukei institutions so they remain fit for purpose in a modern Fiji. That is precisely the direction we are taking. In 2023, a major milestone was achieved with the restorations of the Great Council of Chiefs and reopening of Walianimbose complex in 2025, restoring both a physical home and national symbol of iTaukei governance. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the task ahead is practical. Today, our chiefs and community leaders must guide responses to emerging national challenges, including the drugs crisis and associated social and public health pressures. Strong traditional leadership is not merely a reflection of the past. It continues to serve as frontline governance and the foundations of community protections. To support this leadership, the iTaukei Land and Fisheries Commission conducted 365 traditional governance training sessions and facilitated 422 informal title sittings. This effort strengthened social cohesion and reinforced authority of customary institutions within modern governance system. The Ministry has also continued strengthening the institutional foundation that supports stability within the Vanua. Through the TLFC, we have improved processes that support the resolution of disputes concerning land ownership, fishing rights, and customary chiefly positions, while enhancing the accessibility and integrity of key national registers. As of now, the TLFC had completed the work of preserving and digitizing 164 PKB records out of the 555 books. We have also begun the process digitally archiving of all our records and uploading it into a secure cloud server. These efforts preserve indigenous knowledge while strengthening economic resilience and community empowerment. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency reminds us that land and sea are Fiji's enduring strategic assets and that there is a shared responsibility to ensure these resources are activated productively and sustainably while honoring custodianship and intergenerational equity. Our Ministry approach is to translate aspirations into practical instruments. Through the TLFC, we have strengthened Vanua security by accelerating their work in completing village boundary surveys, with 590 villages already surveyed and plotted in the GIS system. In addition, 2 out of the 4 Mahogany leases survey were completed in Vanua Levu, representing 50% progress. These initiatives strengthen Vanua security while empowering customary landowners. A second key instrument is the iTaukei Resource Owners Support Fund, which has been strengthened into a more bankable financing mechanism developed with lending partners. Through this model, government provides interest subsidy support to unlock large volumes of private lending, enabling resources owners to become entrepreneurs and investors rather than remaining solely as leaseholders. In 2025, these initiatives supported 1 provincial company and 17 iTaukei business companies with a total approved principal lending of 25.7 million, supported by the 1.7 million in government interest subsidies. Mr. Speaker, sir, through the Impact Invest program, Fijian Holdings Limited had also strengthened strategic equity partnership with landowners trust. Joint ventures in Naitasiri, Takonrove, Teilevu, and Rewa are supporting transformative development in renewable energy, agro-processing, affordable housing, commercial complex, and industrial warehousing. This initiative represents approximately 14.24 million in equity investment, enabling greater landowners' participation in the economy while unlocking the productive value of the land for sustainable and inclusive growth. These projects, currently ranging from design stage to approximately 70% completion, are already generating employment and supporting local enterprise. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also recognize FHL achievement in indigenous business infrastructure for the completion and commissioning of the 18-story FHL Tower, a major presence in Suva commercial landscape and an emblem of long horizontal indigenous investment. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to highlight several key initiatives undertaken by the iTaukei Land Trust Board to strengthen landowners' participation in economic development, while fulfilling its statutory obligations under the iTaukei Land Trust Act and Agriculture Landlord and Tenant Act. The board administers native land leases under both acts, which requires compensation for tenant improvement when leases expire and are not renewed. Recognizing these obligations and the need to empower landowners, the board approved the establishment of the iTaukei Well Fund in 2023. In 2024, the poundage levy structure was revised to 18%, allocating 8% for TLTB operations and 10% to the iTaukei Well Fund. This reform establishes a sustainable financial mechanism that both meets statutory obligations and create new opportunities for economic growth. The iTaukei Well Fund provided compensations for tenant improvement when leases reverts to landowners, serving as equity for development partnership and joint venture, finance land development and property investments, supporting entrepreneurial ventures of land-owning units and funds specialized education scholarship. Mr. Speaker, sir, the iTaukei Development Fund facility commenced operation in 2024 to enable landowners to unlock the economic potential of their land assets. The facilities provide access to financial for agriculture development, business startup and expansion, as well as land development and infrastructure. Eligibility requires applicants to be registered landowners in the Ivolani Kambula. As of January 2026, the facility has approved 132 loans, value at 5.5 million, and received 1.26 million in repayment, representing a recovery rate of 17.46%. Mr. Speaker, sir, the commercial subsidiary, Gallimaroroi Holdings Private Limited, will become operational on 1st of April 2026. This company will serve as a strategic vehicle, allowing landowners to participate directly as equity partners in development projects on their own resources, ensuring that landowners benefit from the value created through their land. In addition, TLTB is implementing a new loan management system, which will significantly improve efficiency, accountability, and financial monitoring within the TDFF program. Mr. Speaker, sir, inclusive development ultimately depends on the people, not only assets. Long-term empowerment also requires investment in education. Through the iTaukei Well Fund, TLTB has established a scholarship program supporting iTaukei students in specialized professional fields, including medicine, aviation, information technology, civil engineering, and business management. These initiatives invest directly in human capital, developing a new generation of professionals who will contribute to both national development and the future stewardship of landowners' interests. The first 15 scholarship recipients received their offer letter from the Honorable Prime Minister on 23rd February 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, tourism remains a critical sector where inclusion must be intentional. Official statistics confirm that visitors' arrival reached a record of 968,367 in 2025. The key policy question is therefore how tourism growth can benefit iTaukei communities in a fair and sustainable way. Last month, we have also launched the Fiji Indigenous Tourism Framework. The Fiji Indigenous Tourism Framework 2026 to 2036 represents an important step towards culturally grounded tourism development, where communities are not a participant, but leaders and primary beneficiaries. Our priority in 2026 is to operationalize this framework through clear standards, partnership, and practical support so that communities can develop viable enterprise while safeguarding what is scared within our culture. Mr. Speaker, sir, strengthening institutions also require legislative reform. The Right of Indigenous People Bill 2025 has also passed its first and second reading and is currently undergoing parliamentary committee scrutiny and public consultation. In addition, amendments are being prepared to the iTaukei Affairs Tikina and Village Council Regulations 1996 in partnership with the Solicitor General's Office. These reforms aims to strengthen village governance system so they can respond more effectively to modern challenges, including drug abuse and emerging social pressures. This reform from a broader iTaukei administration's program encompassing the review of the Great Council of Chiefs, the TLFC, the iTaukei Affairs Board, the iTaukei Land Trust Board, and the iTaukei Trust Funds Board. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also acknowledge the continued work of the iTaukei Trust Fund, which plays an important role in advancing the education, economic empowerment, and long-term development of iTaukei people across Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Center of Appropriate Technology and Development at Nandavi, which continues to equip our young people, particularly from rural and maritime communities, with practical, technical, and vocational skills that enable them to participate meaningfully in modern economy. Likewise, the iTaukei Affairs Board continues to strengthen the iTaukei administration system, supporting provincial, Tikina, and village governance structure that remains the backbone of our community leadership. Together, these institutions reflect the spirit of Sol Solevaki, working collectively with governments, the Vanua, and our people to advance well-being and progress of the iTaukei people within the United Fiji. Honorable Speaker, sir, the Ministry stands ready to support national consultations on the proposed commercial use of marine areas, Kuma Bill, and the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Bill, ensuring that the voice of our people are properly heard and reflected in the legislative process. We are also currently preparing for the national celebrations of the Ratu Sukuna Day, which will take place during the week of 29 May, and I'm pleased to announce that this year's commemorations will be hosted in the Western Division. Mr. Speaker, sir, our priorities for 2026 are therefore clear. We will consolidate the operational capacity of the Great Council of Chiefs, strengthen land administrations and record systems, expand landowners' entrepreneurship financing, implement the Indigenous Tourism Framework, and advance key legislative reform affecting villages' governance and Indigenous rights. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank His Excellency, his address and his call for unity, integrity, and practical leadership. His Excellency reminds us of the iTaukei principle, I quote, Saindoko Karikari, and quote, leadership that reflects unity, responsibility, and forward-looking actions. Our ministry accepts that challenge. We remain committed to advancing the well-being of the iTaukei people within our united Fiji and strengthen the partnership between government and the Vanua so that the development delivers real improvement in livelihood, services, and opportunity for all. I support the motion before the House. Nasa valeu.